The CGA Tour, a podcast unlike any other. Now your host, Calvin Alexander.
Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the CGA Tour podcast. As always, here I'm your host, Calvin Glen Alexander. And on tonight's episode of the podcast, I'm joined by, I'd say, an Oklahoma State basketball legend. I'll get to why here in a second. Jeffrey Carroll, how's it going?
I'm good, boss. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks so much for joining, man. You know,
yes, sir.
I was looking up all your Oklahoma State stuff, of course. Went to Oklahoma State, graduated in 2018. So kind of mirroring you a little bit there. I was there 1 year longer than you were, so I did 6 years and not redshirted. So yeah, I was really enjoying Stillwater for a little bit. But that being said, you know, you're top 25 in Oklahoma State in rebounding. Yeah, I didn't expect that. You're 6'6", man.
You might have told me something. Yeah, man. Yeah. You might have told me something that I didn't know either, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You're one of the two guys to be top 25 in Oklahoma State, and of course scoring. I mean, that's what I know.
Yeah, bread and butter.
Rebound. So
yes, sir. I try to do what I can.
Yeah, no, getting after it. Well, hey, I wanted to go through your background a little bit here. You know, why you chose Oklahoma State, some good moments from Oklahoma State playing time as well, and then kind of get into what you're up to now as well as kind of how different leagues work and everything there. So
yes, sir.
Tell me kind of originally here, why did you choose Oklahoma State? Like, I mean, you're growing up, it says from Virginia, from everything I've read here. So why Oklahoma State overall?
Why I chose Oklahoma State, man. So I wasn't like heavily like recruited coming out of high school. I kind of picked up some attention like my last summer playing summer ball, like with the Dallas Mustangs with Leighton Hammonds. My roommate there in Stillwater, and man, so it started there. I remember Travis Ford, he came to watch Leighton actually, and it was I was kind of like, I remember I was struggling this summer, like I was like kind of like the only one trying to still kind of find myself because I was kind of newer to the team. Better competition than what I was used to playing against. Like I believe we all went Division I at some level on that team. So definitely loaded there. But I forgot where we were, but I remember Travis Ford, he came to watch Leighton play. It might have been one of the like Adidas Super 64 tournaments. So I was struggling a bit that summer, and then I remember for some reason, this exact tournament, it clicked. Like anything I threw up, it was falling, and there were a lot of coaches sitting on the sideline because like most of my team was being like heavily recruited by these big schools, and had a great tournament. And shortly after that, I remember waking up the next morning and I had a bunch of missed calls from a bunch of different phone numbers. I was like, what is this? Because I didn't know what it was really like to be recruited, to be called a lot, to be, wanted, on that level. So I was like, man, like, because I remember like my first offers were like North Texas and Sam Houston State. And I was fired up to you. I was like, oh man, like I get to go to one of these schools. Like, I was already excited for that, but I never thought about, high major D1. And then, then fast forward. So I started being recruited by OK State, and then I had a chance to go take a visit. So at the time, I remember you could only have 5 visits. I only took 2. I took my first one to Kansas State, and I remember like texting back to my dad like back at home like, hey, I love it here, but this is my first ever college visit. So I was excited. Like everything was really nice. The lights were extra bright. I was like, man, I want to come here. And then my dad was like, wait, like we're going to take the visit in Stillwater next weekend. After that, you can decide. I was like, all right, fine. Fine. Just being young and excited. And then, the time came, like we went up there and it was bigger and better than what I imagined. I was like, man, like it's closer to home. Like I'm far enough away. So it's like about a 4-hour drive. Like I'm far enough, but I'm also close enough, like to where like my family can come to the game, drive up for the game. So But yeah, I got on campus and instantly, it's kind of hard to not like what you see whenever you get there. Like starting with, yeah, like the Union, just how nice it looks, and you come across the Boone Pickens, and then you get to GIA and you step in there, you're like, yeah, like you could feel the history in this place. And then because I wouldn't even say that like I followed the Cowboys, like super close, like coming up in high school. I definitely knew who they were because I had so like LeBron Nash, he's still like one of my great friends. I remember the big commitment with the cowboy hat on ESPN, and I remember it was super iconic because he's from Dallas as well. So I grew up watching him, and then I was like, man, like it's hard not to not come here. And then I remember, yeah, so like the visit was just beyond anything that I could imagine. And then I remember being in Coach Ford's house, and then I was like sitting next to my dad. They were making their final, pitch for me to commit, and like it just kind of clicked. I was like, okay, I really feel like this is it. Like I don't need to see anymore. I waited. Like I was excited about K-State, but I was like, man, O State might be it. And then I remember I like leaned over to my dad. I was like, yeah, I want to come here. He's like, all right, say it. And I remember I was like, I got so nervous. I was like, all right, coach, I want to commit. And I remember like we all stood up, we hugged each other, it was great. And then yeah, from there it was kind of history. So yeah, definitely shout out to the Dallas Mustangs, shout out to Leighton Hammonds, for and some more people for putting me on that stage to be seen. And I went from getting ready to go to like North Texas, Sam Houston State to O State was the final destination.
Well, that's awesome. The one thing I was looking up from ESPN is they said that you had offered by Oklahoma State, K-State, Nebraska, and OU.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular reason why? Of course, I'm more than happy you chose Oklahoma State over OU, but
right.
Any particular reason? Just coaching or something else that stood out to you?
I just and like also like the kind of like North Texas pipeline that was before me, or like how like a lot of Texas kids go to O State, like Phil Forte, like so I grew up watching Phil Forte, Marcus Smart, LeBron Nash, so like just seeing those guys, I'm like, man, and like the success they were having, like of course I know just because I'm from Dallas doesn't mean I'm gonna have a great career, but just seeing that like connection and but yeah, Cause yeah, I mean, I could have took a visit to OU or Nebraska, but I was like, like, cause I'm a pretty like straightforward guy. Like once I have my mind set on something, like I'm gonna try to do my best to go after, or I'm gonna stick with it. So I was like, yeah, I have to go to O State.
Well, we appreciate it for sure. What's one of your like best memories playing for Oklahoma State? I mean, a couple times you guys beat Kansas.
Yeah, man.
Bedlam wins in there as well too.
Yeah, we got some.
I think that was the sweep KU year. If I remember senior year.
I believe you are correct. Yeah, no, I've had some incredible memories on the court, off the court. Because I've been around so many different guys, so many different personalities, and just how, I've clicked with, a lot of them. And man, if I had to pinpoint one, I mean, I could go from beating Trae Young, whenever they came to Stillwater, because everybody knew how magical he was and how great of a player he was and what he did that year. Yeah, I could even go to beating Kansas in Lawrence. Oh man, it's hard to kind of top that because it's just like I remember like I said, going back to like the Marcus Smart backflip, and that I don't think we won until that year whenever we went down there and won. Or even I think there's a stat or a fact floating around out there. Me and Mitchell Solomon, we won at every Big 12 venue. I don't know how many times like that's been done, but I thought that was pretty cool. And like I didn't really find that out until like once we did it, like we had our like social media guy. He was like, if I'm not mistaken, like you guys have won at every venue. Like not too many people like can say like they've won here, won there. Mostly it's because they don't win in Kansas because it's such a hard place to play. And I mean, like so many other places, but I might have to say, yeah, I might have to say that Bella whenever we beat Trae Young, just because of how incredible game he had. I think he had 48, almost single-handedly won him the game, and just how like the magnitude of that game. I want to say we were 13-5, like we were packed out that for sure, and just like I remember correctly. No, that might have been a different OU game, but yeah, I think it was that game. And then I have this like a picture that from that game, and it was like me like walking off with like my fists in the air of victory, and Trae Young was standing right behind me and just looking, you know, mad that that they lost. But it was just like a very like a picture was like worth 1,000 words. But like even in that moment, like that was probably like one. I mean. There was a lot of crazy moments, but if I had to choose one, I would probably say that one.
Yeah, I pulled up a couple here I could ask you about, but I don't know if you remember exactly. You have a career high against Pittsburgh, regular
That's right.
game, but then you put 27 up on KU.
Yeah,
that's unfortunately a loss, but I mean that had to go down pretty
for
good.
sure,
I mean,
for sure. Because there's a lot of it's like a. Yeah, like just for myself, like I've definitely had some performances. Sometimes it like the result didn't end how I wanted, so I don't really I don't maybe appreciate as much as I should. Like, oh, we lost, so it doesn't matter. But but no, yeah, definitely, I've had some moments. And then that Pittsburgh game, I want to say that was my senior year. That was whenever I kind of came back because I was suspended during that whole crazy thing. And that was my first game back. I want to say was that game. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. But yeah, because the senior year was almost no senior year. So I'm glad that things like went the way that they did, and yeah, I was able to get back out there as quick as I could.
Yeah, I think every Oklahoma State fan's kind of shaking their heads. You didn't play all three of those first three games too.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of just, man, what the heck? But how was it playing for, it's of course different coaches you played for as well.
Right.
You played for Underwood, you played for Boyne, you played
right.
for, Ford. Any favorite coach, any different aspects of the coaching styles that they had that you want to kind of touch on of like, hey, you know what, like Travis Ford's really good at this, Underwood is good at this, et cetera.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I think, shout out to all three of them. I mean, they were all great in their own way. I think it's kind of obvious my favorite coach might have been Brad Underwood just because of like the success and just what he like instilled in me. I remember his first days on campus, he sat me down and was like, like I know what you can do pretty much. And, because I was still like, I had a okay sophomore year, still like finding myself and not really knowing the potential that I really had yet. But then just like the confidence and like how he instilled in me before we even played a game, like this was like right when he first got there. Cause I saw the success of Thomas Walkup, like Stephen F. Austin whenever they made that run. And so I was like, I didn't really like understand like the magnitude of like, how great he was, like coming into that until, they're like, we have a new coach. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here. So regardless, I'm gonna have to figure it out regardless. And yeah, he made it easy. Well, he didn't make it easy for me, but definitely he pushed me in ways that I didn't even know were possible, because as we know, he's very intense, but he also praises you just as much. And, but yeah, I mean, it was super fun. Like we had a pretty good season, but like the Big 12 was so tough. I want to say yesterday I was working at camp or like I helped work at camp. And somebody asked me like who was like the worst Big 12 team I played against like during my time. I was like, man, like I don't remember. It might have been like, well, like statistically like TCU or Texas Tech. But I was like, they would go in any other conference and smack everybody. So it's like that's how intense the league was, then. And but yeah, I mean, kind of each coach kind of taught me something different because I was with them in different phases in life, kind of. So Travis Ford, I was still young, I was still a kid, and he really woke me up to what this collegiate world is about. Like this isn't high school. Like because everybody's him on their high school team until you go jump in the water with the big fish, and it's like you're back at the bottom of the ocean, and you got to show and prove again. And um, yeah, so he really like woke me up to that and just like gave me the foundation of like, yeah, like what it's gonna be like, because yeah, like I said, I redshirted, but he also, I have to give him a lot of credit for that as well because without that red shirt, who knows how it would have panned out, because I really feel like that red shirt year really, really, really helped me because I came in, body, I was not, physicality was insane, I was very light, I was thin, I was like 190, and like spending that whole year off pretty much. I had to do the real practice, but work even harder before and after practice and on road trips. And like Jake Melzelman, he was our strength and conditioning coach. He took me from 1 to 10. He transformed my body. I went from like 190, like 215, and I came in. I was the one giving the hits out. After spending a year, well, 2 summers and a full like a year with him and stuff like that. And then yeah, like with Mike Boynton. So I was able to, like I was comfortable with him because he came in with Brad Underwood. So we had a good relationship as well. And then whenever I found out he was going to take over the head coaching position, I was like, you know what? I want to be a part of, his first team as a head coach. And I still feel like I had something to still, show and prove. And so I wanted to stay and to be a part of that. And yeah, I mean, we had a great year. We made it NIT. I want to say we made it third round, if I'm not mistaken. We lost to Eastern Kentucky, I believe. But yeah, like we had beat Stanford, and I think we had beat like Florida Gulf Coast or somebody. But yeah, so like it was just because I was with all three. Well, first of all, it's crazy to have three head coaches during a collegiate career anywhere at any level. But just how I've taken something from all of them, and it propelled me into the professional world.
You talk about your time like playing for Oklahoma State, different head coaches, all good type of stuff. Is there any like favorite player you got, or I mean, of course, Layden roommate and all type of stuff, or like a funny moment on the team you can share with us?
What you said, like a moment, or
yeah, like a funniest player. I know.
Yeah,
I think Layden said it was Joe Burton was the funniest guy on the team.
Yeah, man, Joe was a character, definitely. Yeah, because I didn't see it. I done had some guys come through there. I mean, like Layton is definitely a favorite, but I would say maybe like Anthony Allen or Anthony Hickey.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Allen, yeah, I mean, well, like he's just like the goofiest dude. Like he's so pure hearted, but he's so like intentional. He's so serious, but like he's always joking, but he's serious whenever he says things. Um, but man, like I just remember like those two vividly because I want to say I don't know if they were roommates, but they played FIFA. So like we went through like a huge FIFA phase. I was okay. I'm gonna go ahead and claim it now. I was okay. I was mediocre. Like I didn't play at all, but I started playing because of them. But they were elite. Like Layden included, Anthony Hickey and Allen as well. And I remember just going down to their room to not play, but I'm going to just spectate because these guys would just argue and troll each other. Like I can't say what was said, but just like these guys nonstop comedy back and forth, so competitive. But I like for some reason those two dudes it would just be like, all right, like after practice, but the trash talking would start at practice. Like, all right, like we'll see, and it's building up all through practice, and then finally we go get some food, and then we just go over there, and I just sit there and just watch them play for hours. Like just comedy. Like if Twitch was, well, like Twitch was the thing, but like if we were streaming then, like this would have been like must see TV.
Yeah.
What I have to say. But yeah, I mean, countless memories with a lot of guys, but for some, yeah, like that was just pure entertainment.
I had to get an NIL deal at that point, you know. So
Oh man, yeah.
stuff. That would have been incredible.
Oh man, because we were pretty much all gamers. Well, like me, like Layden. I'll say the only one who really didn't game like that. Well, it just depends on like what team, but like me, Hickey, Allen, Layden, uh, like Lindy. Yeah, we probably played the game all the time. Like if we weren't on the court, like we were playing something. So,
Man,
and then it never stopped.
Yeah, was there ever talks about, hey, trying to play somebody on campus? Being like, all right, there's like some club, you know, of Oklahoma State gamers, anything like that, and like, hey, I mean, that would have been a cool deal for Oklahoma State to put together.
Oh
maybe,
man,
you
for
know?
sure.
I'm sure those guys would have tried you guys. I'm not sure if you would necessarily.
I want to say,
do it.
I want to say, like now that you brought it up, I remember like an event where we actually did play some students, or like they asked us to play like in the student union, and like they have the whole setup, like put the TV in there. And like I remember that I think I played a student. I don't know if it's like there's video out there, but yeah, I remember them setting up this thing because like yeah, this was when they're like it was known I was a gamer, like. And then but yeah, like our teammate like set something up with the students, you know, to like do something fun in the union. And I remember playing somebody and I remember winning. So I don't know, I don't remember who I played because this was this was some time ago, but I remember something like that happening and then I won. So I do remember that, but no, definitely I wish that we could have done some more like little fan things like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll maybe try to get that set up, you know, at some point here.
Yeah, like a reunion or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Well, we'll also, of course, want to talk about, I mean, now you're, you know, multi-year, you know, international basketball career as well, too.
Yes, sir.
But starting off, you know, you graduated Oklahoma State and then all of a sudden you're playing Summer League for the Lakers. How was that experience?
Yeah. So I went from playing, in Summer League playing in Stillwater to a few months later playing in front of LeBron James in Summer League. It was, man, it happened so fast, but yeah, so as soon as I left Stillwater, I remember I had left like shortly after the season. Like I remember school wasn't out, but I was already done with school. And so I went home, and as soon as I got home, it was like, all right, got to find an agent. Like stuff is getting real now. It's time to get an agent, and it's time to start your career. So I remember we lost NIT, and I remember maybe a day or two later, I was already back in Dallas, and then I had 2 meetings with agents. And yeah, like I had like my family with me, and yeah, we sat down with 2 agents, and the second meeting that I had, I actually took them, and yeah, we had a great time together. I want to say I was within like my first 4 years after O State, so yeah, so started there, and then the goal, you know, like there was some, you know, speculation that there was a chance that I could get drafted late second round, because I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say I had about 13 to 15 pre-draft workouts. So I was moving. Like I remember actually like during the pre-draft process, no, I want to say it was the day after the draft. Like Layden had actually got married, and the thing was like, so it was either going to be like I was going to go maybe to the Lakers. It was like second round, like 40. I don't remember if it was the third or seventh, and it was me and Svi Mikhailu from Kansas. So obviously, you know, I had some great battles against him, and I want to say like I had my best pre-draft workout with the Lakers. I felt really good. I knew I played good, played well. And they were like, like they didn't say, you know, but it was like, you know, there's a chance, you know, because they had this late second round pick. You never know. You had a great workout with them, and then so yeah, so I didn't really know how to feel on draft day. I was like, you know, am I gonna be sad if I don't get drafted? Am I not gonna be too like expect too much? But I was kind of in the middle because it's like just being who I am. I was just a little nervous about the whole thing about how it's like, like we said, like going from not even really being recruited to now I'm on the stage, and then going from like, okay, I made it to not thinking about NBA, like, and I'm like, wow, like my life could change, well, like this was on the draft day, but just going through that whole process of like, man, and then yeah, draft day came around, like we had a watch party at one of my buddies, like really, really, really nice house. And so yeah, we set up shop over there, just had close friends and family because I wasn't gonna throw some sort of like extravaganza because like if I was a first rounder for sure, okay, that's different. I was like, okay, maybe we can do this, but I was like, you know what, I want to keep it small just in case. And then yeah, so the draft was happening. First round went by. I was like, now I got really nervous. Second round, they got they got to the like set like 40 something pick, and the Lakers are on. And I remember just sitting there like, well, this is it or it's not going to be it. And then they called Svi Mykhailiuk, and I was like, yeah, well, that's like, like I kind of knew in the back of my mind, like there's a chance that could happen. So, um, I was a little upset afterwards, like just how like I felt like, oh, like what do I do now? Just the normal thoughts of being, well, yeah, I guess undrafted, like all the emotions after, and then not even 10, 15 minutes later, I get a call from my agent, like, hey, the Lakers want you for summer league. I was like, oh. I was like, man, this feels like being drafted. A win is a win. Like, I was like, you know what? So I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm in. Like, there's nothing else more to say. Like, let me know what I need to do. So yeah. So then right after that, yeah, just got ready for summer league, and then yeah, went out there. Yeah, had a good experience the first time around, and then yeah, like I played good minutes. Like I was playing about 15, 20 minutes a game. Had some good games, and then the king walks in the building like one of like our later games, and sit in the front row. Of course, the whole arena stops and stares, and I'm like, like I've played in front of some guys. Like I remember KD coming to Stillwater before, and Russ and stuff like that. I was like, but I'm playing on a team that he's affiliated with. Like this hits a little different. Of course, you try to do something to impress him. And I actually have I don't know if it's on my IG, but I have a clip somewhere on my phone where I drove baseline and I scored like a tough basket, like arguably a foul, could have been an and one in my eyes, but made it. And like I want to say it was like a bump fade, and like the camera was like it had like it was showing LeBron, but like it was also showing our game as well whenever I scored. And LeBron went like hold on, who is that? And like but I didn't I didn't see it in real time, but I saw it afterwards. Like all my friends were like, bro, like look, like we saw this on TV. And I was like, what? Like it looked, I was like, man, I just got a bucket in front of LeBron. Like, and he was, it's like he saw it definitely. So like that was be a part of the highlight of the whole thing. I want to say we made it to the championship that, 'cause I remember Josh Hart, yeah, like this was, well, yeah, whenever he was with the Lakers, but yeah, he had an incredible, I want to say he won like MVP of that summer league. But yeah, like to be out there with him, I want to say Caruso was out there too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like that time was, man, it was magical because it was like, man, I'm here and I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm holding my own, like I'm holding my own. So I mean, I'm proud of myself definitely. And then
the pan.
oh yeah, yeah.
No,
I'm about
found
to
the
say,
clip here. Found the clip here on the fly. Pretty
you
quickly,
found something,
so,
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I don't know
like I want to say, like that
not.
was a summer classic, like right before Vegas. So, because like only some teams playing that, so the more games, the better. So yeah, I definitely I had a good little stint there, and then yeah, then got invited to training camp with them. So, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm officially a Laker. Like I was legit with them, but only for the training camp. Like right before like the actual season started, I got released, and then they were like, like we want to keep you around. And I was like, yeah, of course, because I'm like, well, I'm right there knocking on the door. I mean, at least, just in my eyes, I was like, well, I'm pretty like, of course I want to stay. And yeah, fortunately after that, I went down to the G League so then, yeah, I went down to the G League and then tore my ankle, had a grade 3 ankle tear, and I missed probably like 75% of my rookie season technically because I was in a boot on crutches, and luckily I didn't need surgery. But yeah, it was like everything was great, and then I got hurt that quick, and then like I came back. I had some pretty good games in the G League. Definitely not, wasn't the season what I wanted, but I made with like what I could though, like with the games that I had and what I could, and then. Yeah, from there, that's whenever Italy was calling. I was like, hey, because I was, of course, like a little nervous to go to Italy because I had never been past Hawaii. I've never been out of the country. So, and then yeah, and then after the Lakers, I began my European career.
All right, so you touched on it just now. I want to ask you about NBA champion Alex Caruso.
Two-time.
Of course, two-time. Both are real.
Right.
So do you have any idea, like, hey, he was playing so much differently? How do you think these things kind of work is kind of my bigger question, too, with, like, Lindy Waters, for example. I mean,
right.
when you, Layden, Cam, Lindy are all on the team, I'm like, hey, you know what? If there's a guy who's got a shot, I'm like, Lindy might, but I never saw it coming. I don't know if he did.
Right.
Corey's been told real well, but so is Caruso's now at this point. Is there anything at all you think that like separates you guys, or just kind of some group of a bunch of stuff together, like luck and opportunities and all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to say, timing is definitely everything. Because for example, Caruso, his story, as like the world knows now, he came up in the G League and, he was fighting. He was fighting to stay. And so whenever I had officially met him, it was, summer league and then South Bay, Texas kids. So yeah, we definitely we bonded real close, just more quickly after that. But yeah, man, like I was telling people he has played the exact same way, but it's like the timing of when. So whenever I was around him, like I was playing with him in the G League, like this guy was putting up triple doubles. Like we'll go to a team, smack him. He put a triple double on, dunked on 2 people, hit a few 3. Like he's done everything that you saw him do since you've seen him do. Not even with OKC, but with the Lakers, with Chicago. He's like, that's why he's appreciated. Like, or I don't think he's appreciated enough. Like guys like him, like, he can do everything. And it's hard to find guys like that. Like TJ McConnell's like I want to say it was like the big, or like it was like JJ Redick's podcast whenever I guess like TJ McConnell was also talking on there. Like that's another guy, like, playing hard is a skill, and and like talented, like most of the talented guys really don't play hard, but it's like these guys who've had to fight for everything, like it's really, like inspirational to really see, because it's like I've been around it, I've seen it, I played it around it, and it's like if he can do it, like it just puts it gives guys like like me like a lot of hope, like of course like our styles are a bit different, but it's like somebody appreciated how he played. He got in there, got his opportunity, and he made the absolute most of it. And they're starting with the Lakers run. Like he was on a 2-way whenever I was with him, so he was going back and forth. And I was like, man, I don't know how you do it. Like to go up there, to be able to play in the NBA, and to come back down and beat up on these guys, it's crazy. It shows up like he's an everyday guy, and just the most down to earth. He's just like a normal guy. But just is really good at basketball. And I think his quote was this year was like, you got to watch the games, like really see, because if you're a real basketball fan and really appreciate basketball and high level hoops, Caruso should be talked about, like the Caruso, the Josh Harts, guys who can just make everything go smooth, will do everything at any given time, and can do it at a really successful rate.
Yeah, I think the most shocking thing I hear is that Crusoe's old, and Crusoe and I are both the same age. He's old
Right.
team, and I'm like,
right.
man,
Don't let the bald
old.
head fool
Yeah.
you, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like now he's made his like signature, which I love, but it's like guys like that. It's like, yeah, you can just tell he's about business. Like you don't need to mess around with guys like that. But yeah, it's crazy, man. But I mean, he's not, I mean, because I'm 30, he's what, 32, maybe 33. I don't even think he's that old.
31 or
31, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, but yeah, I mean, yeah, don't let the looks can be deceiving. But it's like, yeah, so he still got some great years left for sure.
Yeah, it's just a little bit interesting to me where he's already like, doesn't play back to backs, that
right.
Stuff, right? He's kind of got that NBA vet treatment because he's got
for
so
sure.
much,
He's earned it now. I mean, hey, two-time. I mean, he's done a lot more than what a lot of greats have done, have came through this league, have done, and so salute to Alex Caruso, man.
Yeah, I did want to ask you before we get to the international stuff. I'm a middle school basketball coach, and one of the things I'm always thinking about is that, like, you got to play your role on a team. Like,
absolutely.
if we've got one kid who I'm like, hey man, you're tall, like you don't need to shoot threes.
You need to be around this basket,
especially last year when you're a 7th grader, this year an 8th grader, absolutely. Like, hey, you're getting tall, like we don't need to shoot threes just yet. We don't need a Miles Turner out here. It's nice, no need a Chet to be incredible, but yeah. You speak all to like how maybe you've had to play differently, or you've noticed like how different guys play differently on the different teams you played for, and kind of finding your role.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just like, I feel like, the older you get, or some like younger guys even understand it, like not everybody is the guy, and especially now that social media, like especially like you said, like you coach like middle schoolers, so kids who are heavily influenced by now TikTok, by now going viral, trying to do the most to do this and be seen. But it's like it's easier said than done. Some people have ego, some people refuse to, some people understand the quicker I buy in, the better chance I have to be successful individually and for the team to be successful as a whole. And because it's funny, because it's like because like I'm trying to like even think back from like middle school to high school to college to the pros. It's like I probably played every role that there is to play at this point. Even like I'm 6'7", or okay, of course as a kid I was not this big, but it's like you see your teammates shooting all the threes, making all the threes, and you're not the best shooter, but you're like, I want to be like that. And it's like some people take the time to get better and become that, and some people, it's like you're trying to be that, but you're not that, or that's not what we need for the team. And sometimes it really just depends on your crowd, who you're dealing with. But man, yeah, I've had to adapt to something like being professional. Like a skill is adapting to your environment, to your team, to your teammates. Some do it well than others, sometimes it's harder to do it on other teams than others. But like usually, like just speaking of my own experience, like mostly I'm known to be a scorer, like that's my bread and butter. Like that's, I'm not a like Dyson McDaniels, like lockdown defender. I could be, or at times maybe show that, but like that's not what gets me paid. Like I bought into, okay, what gets me paid? Okay, scoring, I do that really well. Rebounding, I do that really well. Being active, like running around with the motor, playing athletic, I do that really well. And I've realized I've had success doing it. And but yeah, like on like different teams. So let's say my first team in Italy, my first ever European team, Bergamo. We were a very, very young club, and I was only 24, and I was like one of the older guys. So you can imagine, like, and we had like two like older Italians who were like legit like 35 plus, but it was like, like I was being like looked at as like one of like, you are a veteran. I'm like, it's only like my second year playing, well, as a professional, so it's like like also on that team, my role was to really score. Like if I didn't score over 20, we were gonna kind of struggle. Like it was a good chance we were gonna lose. And so yeah, in Bergamo, my role was to mostly score, try to score as much as I could in order to help the team. And then after that, I went to Treviso, and then since we had like definitely more because so that was second league Italy, and then Treviso was first league. And so we had, instead of me and another American in second league, for only being two imports, we had up to five. So therefore, the team was a lot deeper, a lot better. So I didn't have to score as much. I had to just be as like versatile as I could be. Like whether I scored 20 or if I scored 10, it was that I had like a very like effective game. And then after Treviso was Biella, which arguably I would say that was like the most points per game that I averaged. So kind of like a similar situation to the first team, was try to score as much as I could. And I think I ended up averaging like 22 that year, and definitely have not averaged that since then. But yeah, so because like that was like during the COVID time, so yeah, it was a very crazy time, but for my career, it was probably one of the best times for sure. After then I started back second league in Italy. Team was four league, where um my role wasn't to try to score as much, but just to be more of a like a defender, which was a bit of a new role for me. But I took on the challenge, and yeah, definitely did as best as I could. And then after that, I played in Rome, and Rome was just um, be all around as I could, whether I was scoring, whether I had to go guard the best player, maybe, or whatever. Just did whatever the coach asked. But yeah, like with all that being said, it's like, you know, each team is different. You have different teammates almost every year. It's like the NBA. It's the team you start with more times than not is not the team that you finish with, because they usually, in Europe at least, they make changes around Christmas, because that's about like the halfway point. So yeah, I mean it's pretty cutthroat, but I mean it's also part of being professional, is because is to be able to adapt. Like how well can you adapt? How well can you adapt and be successful? And the more ways that you could adapt, the more ways you're useful, and more opportunities for you.
Was talking with Layton about this on the last episode, but you're not the only guy I've noticed who plays overseas but changes teams. Kind of seems like everyone changes teams every year.
For sure.
I mean, how hard is that to kind of know playing with guys off the bat? I mean, how many practices are you guys getting in during the season or preseason stuff where you got to have some type of continuity?
For sure. No, I mean, preseason is definitely probably the most important part of the season, even though it's the most grueling, because it's the time where we all come in. Now we're all around each other, and then we slowly start to build this chemistry. But yeah, like it usually starts, with the trainings. Like the locker room is like a big environment overseas. Like this is where like we really, obviously we spend the most time. It's our office. This is where like we really get to know people. And like we've countless, I've had countless conversations with guys, like from like the locals, like the Italians where I played, or the Finnish guys where I played, or the Germans where I played, because it's cool to kind of see their world, because I mean we're in their world, we're in their culture, we're in their like all of that. But yeah, it can be, like a bit of a process, because, sometimes like if a situation doesn't work and you have to switch teams, and, like I said, it is part of it is like going in there with, you just try to adapt what you can. Of course, we're all human. Not everybody is going to like each other, of course. And, since it's like a win-lose thing, of course, the season's great. Everybody's a great teammate. When you're winning, you're kicking butt and all that. So, but also on the flip side, like I've also been on teams where we've almost fallen apart. We've fallen apart, and I've also been on teams where we've struggled, and then we've actually turned it around, and we gelled more because, we've been through that storm together. And I know I can count to the guy to the left and the right of me. And it just makes, going to work, every day fun. And, yeah, I mean, and you brought up practices. I mean, it really just depends like where you're at. Cause like Italy, Finland, Germany, similar, cause like practice is practice. It sucks, but it's like whenever you get there, you got to make, we're all here for a reason. We all have the same goal. So we're all here to work and to get better every day and not waste each other's time, cause now, most of these guys have families, that they got kids to feed, wives to feed. So, it's like, I want to do as best as I can. So the next man, we're winning here. It's all towards the team's success. And so everybody eats in a way, but yeah, I mean, it could be, but like at this point, like well, this would have been my seventh season playing, but I didn't play this year due to injury. But yeah, but like I said, it's just how quick can you adapt. Those who do tend to have the longer, more successful careers, and the ones who don't, who are probably maybe a little more talented, are the ones who are like, like what happened in a way, like a man, like this guy, should play, however many years, but but we understand that, life happens and all that. So, but yeah, man, but it's also part of the journey. It's like, how did this orange ball take me from Virginia to Texas to Texas to Stillwater to LA, and then just across the world, So it's being like, I'm learning more and more now, like to really appreciate where I'm at, because the ball will stop bouncing soon, and it's just really being present and not worrying about like if I had a bad game or like a bad game or a good game, because it's up and down. I try to stay even killed, because there's going to be phases where I look like MVP. There's going to be phases where I'm struggling, and I've went through all of those phases so far. So, but it's like coming out on the other side and understanding that ultimately, if you stick to what your foundation, it's all going to be okay in the long run.
So I've been looking through here. I think you've been number 30 for every team, at least starting from Oklahoma State on.
I actually was number 5 in the G League for South Bay. Yeah, so for some reason, I went through a phase of like, I kind of want to be a single digit, like I've been 30, but like 30 is now part of like, I would never change number 30 again or away from number 30 again. But I did go number 5 in the with South Bay in the G League. So
yeah, why number 30? It's not like it's it's not 23. It's not it's not 33 for Marcus Smart.
I know. I mean, believe it or not, and you may laugh when I say this, but I am a huge Stephen Curry fan. Back to Davidson. So I was actually number 24. Like I wore 24 like in high school, like summer AAU. Then I wore it junior varsity. Then when I made varsity my sophomore year, they didn't have 24 available, and the closest number was 30. Cause like my second favorite number was 32, but then they didn't have 32 either. So I was like, okay, like number 30, and then from 30, I just kept it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure, especially when you started at OSU, it's around the same time Steph won the first chip. So
yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, definitely, yeah, because of Steph, I was like, oh, he can shoot, I can shoot. He's light skinned, I'm light skinned. Like I was just, like a super, super fan. But yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. Well, you talked about LeBron coming to Summer League. Has there been any other guy you've been like just starstruck by or had a really cool experience meeting? Who's just kind of made you stop in your tracks a little bit?
I mean, may he rest in peace, but the great Kobe Bryant, man. I had the chance to meet him junior year. Was this before? Was this going into the Brad Underwood year? Or no, this might have been going into my senior year. Mm-hmm. I was able to go to the Nike Skills Academy in California, LA. And got invited, and like played the whole week. last day they were like, okay, we have a special guest. You know, we're not thinking nothing of it. Like, oh, who could it be? And I remember like we were sitting in like a auditorium. They were like, all right, he's coming. So like, and then I remember it just got quiet, and like a door, like just the auditorium door opened up, and then Kobe comes walking in, sunshades on, like it seemed like he already had the halo on him. Like it was like, oh, like almost like God walked in, as you can imagine. Like, it was like, whoa, we were like, whoa, what the, whoa, like we were grabbing each other, like, man, like, cause we didn't guess it was gonna be Kobe Bryant, you know, like it's Kobe Bryant, like he has a million things to do, like, and man, he gave a great, you know, great storyteller, great talker, the super motivational speech. But I remember just like him sitting there, and I was like, I feel paralyzed almost, like it's like woof, like. And like whenever he was done, they were like, all right, guys, like you guys can get photos one at a time. Oh my God, we rushed him. What are you talking about? Rushed him. And we're all in front of him, like, yeah, you know, selfie. And I took a selfie with him. I don't think it's on my Instagram. Yeah, I have a bunch of pictures that probably should be up there, but I have it on my phone, like, and it's blown up. Like I took it to Walgreens and I got it blown up. And it's me and Kobe. I had the most cheesiest smile ever, and Kobe's just cool as can be in the bag. And yeah, like that, like I was starstruck. And then, of course, with LeBron, I was starstruck as well. But I don't know which one I was more struck on, but it might have been LeBron, just because of like the circumstances of like, well, we're technically teammates, but like I was never Kobe's teammate. But like, of course, the legacy he's left and the Mamba mentality that, you know, everybody tries to play with, you know, it was crazy. It was super crazy. But yeah, I would have to say Kobe.
All right, well, I was gonna wrap this one up. What's your meeting LeBron story? How did that go?
So I was at the facility. So like we also practiced where they like the real Lakers practice, because they had two courts, and then they brought the wall down for our G League games. So every day, like we're around them. And this was like right when I first got to LA, you know, like I had to go do like, you know, go up to the gym every day, like do my weights, like started getting into like a workout routine. And I was up there early. It might have been like 8 a.m. Like I was like trying to be like one of the first ones to the gym, you know, to like incorporate this, you know, like install this, like, oh, I'm here first every day, leaving last attitude. And someone had beat me to the gym that day, and it was LeBron James. And like I was in like the South Bay locker room. It's like, of course, locker rooms are separate on different sides of the building, but the courts are in the middle. So I come out of my locker room, like I'm like getting ready, you know, like preparing myself, go grab a Gatorade. And so like, I don't know if you've ever seen the like Laker facility, maybe on like a video or something like that, but it's like a big like L-shaped hallway, but it's like the two most important hallways to get everywhere. I'm like walking past where was that? No, I was coming in. So like I was I was getting close to the training room, and I saw someone like getting ready to walk out, but I couldn't tell who it was. And I'm getting closer, and so the door opens and he comes out, and more or less the same thing, like, oh, like, and he was with Bronny, but like Bronny was still like young though. Like this was like 2018. So
Yeah.
he wasn't like Bronny now. Like, so he walks out, and obviously like I see him, and I'm trying to like play it cool, like, all right, man, because like you know, you see somebody from a distance and you like make eye contact, you're like, all right, well, I'm not gonna stare at this person the whole time I'm walking up to him, trying to play it cool. And then I get up on him, and he like looks at me, I look at him, I was like, how you doing? I'm Jeff Carroll. He was like, what's up, bro? And I was like, nice to meet you, bro. And then like walking off, because I was like, all right, just don't do too much. Like, so I dapped him up, and I walked off, and I walked in the gym, and I remember just standing there like, well, like, oh my, I just met LeBron like that quick. Like, it was so like, what's up, man? What's up? Like, I'm like, what? And then like, I was, yeah, for sure on top of the world that day. And when I got home, like, I played 2K with my friends. I was like, bro, I met LeBron today. They were like, what? You know, I had to gas it up and all that. He's like, what? Like, but man, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, like it happened that quick, and then yeah, and then from there, we pretty much saw him on a daily basis for a good 2.5 months. So yeah, but it was incredible. Like he's the most humble like superstar that I've probably actually well been around and actually like spent time around like because I'm seeing him well only at the gym. Wasn't like I was at his house, hey, we're hanging out like buddies, but it was like man, just like really like greatness, like his whole thing. You're sitting there like, oh, this is why he's great. Like in practice he's like like run, like not running everything. Like I know how everybody says like he's like the GM, he's the coach, but it's like really, but just how much respect, he demands, and it's like you feel his presence, and man, but it was crazy. Just like I said, just the journey. Then going from Stillwater to being like, well, getting ready to go to practice with LeBron, like it happened so quick, but it was yeah, definitely a moment I'll never forget.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'll have to be thinking that one for a while here. As I wrap this one up here, anything you want to shout out? Any off-season updates here for you coming back to play international ball this upcoming year as well too?
Yeah. So I tore my ACL, MCL, partial MCL at the beginning or September 13th of or this season. So I didn't play at all. Like I said, was gearing up for year 7, tore my ACL, so didn't play at all. So I've been back home rehabbing this whole time, and just gearing up to play this next season, because usually around like August is when I have to go report somewhere. Um, team is loading. I'm speaking with the team now. It hasn't been official, so I'm a guy until it's set in stone. I don't want to really say anything, but some big moves are about to happen. I will be back on the floor very, very soon, so I'm excited about that. I'm in like the 4th of July will make 9 months since my surgery, so I'm on the better side of the recovery. I'm about ready to start playing like 5-on-5 again, stuff like that. So this year has been this past season has been a journey, being home since November, or really since or October whenever I got the surgery. So definitely a lot of growth, a lot of downtime, but a much needed year off, and definitely hungrier, more motivated than ever to finish out my career, however may long that be. I don't know if I am like a LeBron, if I can make it till 40, all about how the body holds up now. But, super thankful to be on the better side of the rehab and to be ready to get back out on the court and finish up my career, however many years that may be. But, I'm definitely play as long as I'm productive, I'm feeling well and stuff like that. So, some moves will be made soon. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for joining here on the latest episode of the CGA Tour podcast. If you're not already, please follow, subscribe here on YouTube, and shout out to Jeffrey Carroll for joining the podcast here.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Pokes.
Shout out to the CGA Tour, baby. Go Pokes.
Thanks so much.
Yes,
Catch
sir.
you guys again soon.